Mr. Garner, we are now live.
Good evening. Welcome to Benjamin E. Mays High School's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Benjamin E. Mays High School Go Team to order at 5:16 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Thank you so very much. When I say your name, if you would please say present, I would appreciate it. Principal Garner,
Present.
Kajara Anderson,
Present.
Pamela Bryant, present. Courtney Taylor,
Present.
Andrew Dunn,
Present.
Elizabeth Raymond,
Present.
Frances Connor,
Present.
Khalifa Lee,
Present.
Rejoice Jones, Siobhan Brown,
Present.
Brandell Davis.
Present.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present.
Madam Chairperson, a quorum is present at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. If
You're
there's a
welcome.
quorum present, proceed to act. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have a quorum present, so we can go ahead and proceed with our action items. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Elizabeth Raymond, motion to approve the agenda.
A second?
I second that motion.
Can you please state your name?
Frances Connor, I second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, so the secretary can record your vote. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? Okay, if there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
Elizabeth Raymond, motion to approve.
May I have a second?
Frances Connor, second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 And all opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? If so, please say abstain, so the secretary may record that. So we do have some additional action items. Let's see. So one of the additional action items that we will have is to appoint student representatives. Our first action item is to appoint the student representatives. Our team will have 2 student members appointed by the principal. The students will serve for 1 year and be full voting members of the Go Team.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Again, hopefully everybody had a great day and is feeling really, really good, really well. After careful consideration, I would like to appoint Chloe Sands and also Brandell Davis as the student members of the Go Team for the school year. I want to tell you a little bit why these 2 students were selected. They both are juniors. Chloe Sands is our 11th grade SGA president, and Brendell Davis is our 11th grade secretary on the SGA. They both are IB and AP students. and Chloe is also a varsity cheerleader. So I think these two students are great representations of what Mays High School is. They're well-rounded, very bright, very upbeat students who represent our school really well. Congratulations. I don't think Chloe has made it on yet, but if she is, Brendel is here, but congratulations to both Brendel and Chloe. They will serve as the student representatives for the school year.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
We will now move to
Congratulations.
the discussion items on our agenda.
Do we have to make a motion for those appointees?
I don't think so because they were appointed by our principal.
Okay.
So now we will move to the discussion items on our agenda.
All right. Good evening once again. The first thing that we'll talk about is our strategic plan, which lasted from 2021 to 2025, it ends or it ended last school year. I know this will be something that we'll have to update moving forward, but let's kind of take a look at what we had in place and kind of see where we landed. So here's our strategic plan. Again, anybody that wants to take a look at this is always available on our website so that you can spend a lot of time with it. Go Team members over the past couple years have spent a lot of time with this document to make sure that it is an accurate depiction of what we, want to do. So it starts with our mission. The mission of Benjamin E. Mays High School is to inspire learners in a secure, nurturing, and collaborative environment, to promote social and global awareness through academic ownership. And then our vision is a high-performing school where open-minded graduates are college and career ready, responsible digital citizens, and critical thinkers within a global competitive society. I won't read everything to you, but I think it's important that we look at how we prioritize our school strategic priorities. So if you look to your far left where it says fostering academic excellence for all, and then under there is building a culture of student support, and equipping and empowering student leaders and staff, and then creating a system of school support. So we said the first thing was to increase our graduation rate. We also wanted to increase the percentage of students showing proficiency in milestone courses. We wanted to strengthen the implementation of IB, or International Baccalaureate, which is our signature program. Then we said implement a whole child system of supports that integrates social emotional learning, behavior wellness, and comprehensive academic intervention plans. Utilize flexible learning tools, technology integration, and targeted instruction to personalize learning for all students. Retain and continue to develop a high-performing faculty. Build teacher capacity to support an increase in mastery for students, and then provide wraparound services available to address academic, emotional, and behavioral needs. And then from there, those are the strategies that we said we would implement to make those things happen. Next slide. So this is what I just read, right? These are our strategic plan priority rankings. So this is what we said we wanted, the most important thing down to the, all of it's really important, but the most important thing down through the rest. And I know this is something we'll have to redo again. But the first thing was to retain and continue to develop high-performing faculty. And I believe that's the number one thing. You have to have great quality, highly engaged, professional, prepared teachers. And then from there, you want to build a culture and so on and so forth. Next slide. So here is where we kind of take what our priorities were in our strategic plan, coupled with our continuous improvement plan, which is our SIP. And the continuous improvement plan is a yearly plan. So we develop this each year, where the strategic plan is a 5-year plan. And so you can see from graduation rate, we wanted to hit and maintain a 92% graduation rate. We wanted to increase percentage of students showing proficiency in milestone courses. So you see goals within our SIP that align to that. And then providing the wraparound services. I think we've done a lot. We opened a wellness center and we focus on, on mentorship and just students' well-being, but also a focus on our students who had the lowest CCRPI attendance, which is still a growth area for us. Next slide. So let's look at some data. Here is our fall map data. So I know it says spring, but this is hot off the press. So we've just taken map for 9th and 10th grade. And you see where Mays falls. I wanted to show this, and I didn't screenshot all of the high schools, but I did want to show you the top performing schools and kind of where we fall in comparison to those. And so you have Midtown, of course, and you have North Atlanta, and then Jackson. The single gender schools are a lot smaller, so they're not traditional schools. So we count them, but it's not the same amount of kids. And then here we are. And this is where we were, and this is MAP. So MAP in the fall is kind of like a prerequisite test. We give it to our 9th and 10th graders, but it really just tells us kind of where they are before we really taught everything for the full year. So I'll be interested to see where we land this coming spring when we take this, to kind of see the growth of our students as a result of being in the classroom a full school year with our teachers. And it shows where we were last year and this year, during the same time. So you can see in the fall of 24-25, we had about 45% of our students in the red. Red is beginning learner, and the key is, across the top of the screen. Yellow is developing learner, green is proficient, and then the darker green is distinguished. So you see our students came to us a little bit better than the year before. Next slide. Also wanted to show you just, I always say here at Mays High School, we care about everything. Like, we care about everything. We monitor everything that you can think of. And so I wanted to kind of just take you through all of the data that we have and everything that we're monitoring to kind of show you where we landed and, where we're going. So what you're looking at right now is our average ADA, stands for average daily attendance. It's the total number of days students are present divided by the number of days they are enrolled. And so you see school-wide, school year 23-24, our ADA rate was 82.1, which means on average our kids are coming to school about 82% of the time, which is not good, right? You want that number to at least be high 80% to 90%, if not possible. So attendance is still an issue for us. You see where we landed last year. We did a little bit better at 82.9, but still not where we, not ideal. And then there's just a breakdown. The line graph kind of shows kind of how it starts. So you can see in August, the beginning of the school year, it's about 87%. And you can kind of see where it spikes and where it drops. You can see there's a spike in December of kids really coming to school, and then it drops drastically in January and then never really recovers. So these are things that, we use this data to be strategic, right? A lot of the PBIS work and things that we're doing this year, we need to make sure that we center it in those times when we know there's a lapse in kids coming to school, right? So in January, we need to really be ready. October is another, 23-24, it dropped a lot in October. It kind of stabilized last year, but we have to be strategic and know in these months, we need to make sure that we're doing things to keep kids engaged and coming to school. On the far right side is just a breakdown per grade level. And every grade level had a slight increase with the exception of our 9th graders from last year. Next slide. This is behavior data. So, without going into too much detail, you can see the percentage of the students who had no incidents to the percentage that had one incident to 2 to 3 to 4 or more. And you can see from 23, 24, we got better in every category. Our overall suspension rate went from a 3.35 to a 2.18. So we decreased out of school suspensions last year by almost 2,000 days, which we were able to receive some accolades from our district about that. And the one thing that I am, really hell bent on with our team is that, we're going to report the truth. Something happens, discipline wise, we're not going to hide anything. We're going to be transparent. We're going to put all of the discipline in the system because we want it to be accurate. When we show that there's decreases, and I'm not alleging anybody else is not doing that. I'm just saying that that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we are transparent with our discipline. We're going to put it in the system so that when we do see decreases, it's an accurate depiction of our school culture and what's happening in the school. Next slide. All right, content mastery. Content mastery is tricky for me, right? And what I'm learning is that there's variation in it. Certain things happen throughout a school year sometimes that you can't control. Like if someone has to be out on FMLA for an extended period of time that teaches a Georgia milestone tested area, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt you, right? Or if, a team isn't gelling well, or if we're not doing PLCs well, those things hurt the overall performance of our students. And so what I learned this year and last year, my first year at Mays was 23, 24. We had a huge spike in algebra and biology. Scores jumped through the roof, like some of the highest jumps in the district. And our American literature and U.S. history didn't do so well. Well, this year, it swapped. Our American literature and U.S. history jumped through the roof. And then our algebra and biology didn't do as well as they did the year before. So they took declines. But even in the decline, we still performed higher than we did 2 years ago. I don't know if the slide that shows where we have landed over the past 2 years, but what I can tell you is there's been double-digit increases in developing proficient and distinguished learners in double digits in all categories with the exception of algebra, which is something that we will celebrate once the embargo is lifted from the state. Next slide. Sorry. All right, where do we land for our subgroups? So we are an ATSI school for special education, which is why we're on the state list. This year is our year to get off of that list, and we will do that. We are strategic and intentional. We will get off the list this year. But I wanted to show you kind of where our special education students landed. Specifically, we made the list for special education 2 years ago, the year before I got here, in American literature. And so you can see we've been growing in that area each year. Biology is the only area that kind of went down last year. But we are, again, focused on getting off the list. So you can see kind of where our special education students landed last year. And then our ELL students is another subgroup that we have to pay close attention to. We didn't do so well in biology for our English language learners and then in U.S. history. So those are areas that we have to be intentional about, making sure that we know who those students are and that we're monitoring how they are performing on their exit tickets and formative assessments and summative assessments throughout the course of the school year. Next slide. So where do we land? We are projected to have right at a 90% graduation rate. It will be officially released in October So we should hit 89, 90%, praying for 90% grad rate. Keep our fingers crossed on that. Next. So separate, so outside of the Georgia milestone areas, we have something called college and career readiness, which looks at things like our IB, our EOPAs, which are our end of pathway assessments. That applies to all of our students who are taking CTAE courses, level 3 courses. Also, the amount of students that completed FAFSA, the percentage of seniors that complete college applications and AP exams. So we're monitoring again everything. The green checks means we hit the target. The X's means that we did not. All right. And just want to read what's in the blue box. So the goal, we wanted to achieve DP authorization for IB, which we did. We wanted our end of pathway passage rate to increase to 80.45%, which we did not hit that. We wanted 75% of our seniors to complete FAFSA, which that was something going on with FAFSA last year, so we didn't hit that goal. 80% of seniors will complete 3 or more college applications. And then we wanted 9% of our AP students to pass the AP exams with a 3 or higher. And you see, we took that to 28%. So we did really well in that area. Next slide. Also, just some other data on the end of pathway passage rate. So these little charts show the participation rate, the pass rate, and the pathway completers all the way back from school year 2021-22. And so take a look at that. Look at the participation rate. That's a big, big shout out to our career tech teachers, CTAE teachers. It went from 48.6% all the way up to 95.3% last year. The passage rate went from a 48.9 all the way up to 74.7. It was even a little bit better last year at 77.7. So we need to pick it up again this year. And look at the pathway completers. Went from 185 up to 191. So again, monitoring and tracking the data. And then at the bottom here, I just wanted to highlight Miss Somerville, AVTF students who had a 31% point growth, and then 91.4% for Ms. Boone, engineering level 3. It's impressive. 91.4% of her students passed the exam, which is not an easy test. So shout out to Ms. Boone and what she's doing with the engineering class. Next slide. Again, this is our AP classes, which I'm really happy about. This, not where we want to be, but we're definitely growing. So you can look back from 2023, we only had 3% of our students to make 3 or higher. And when students make 3 or higher on these AP exams, they get college credit for them. To 2024, having 8% of our students, so we're jumping up to, I see 26 and 28. I'm gonna say 28% of our students passing the AP exams this past year. So 6 students to 14 to 44. Great work by our AP teachers and by our students. AP exams are tough. They're hard. Students get extra points for those, but we preach to them all the time. It's not just about the extra points. You're in these courses because you've earned a spot there. You need to study and put the work in to be able to pass those AP exams. Dr. Sheely, shout out to her for AP Spanish. She had 100% of her kids to pass. And then 39% of Miss Dawson, who's no longer with us. We miss Miss Dawson, and rest in peace to her. And Mr. Head had a 39% passage rate for the AP US history test. Shout out to them. Next slide. Again, I do, I'm sorry, DP or diploma program authorization, we were able to achieve. And look at the percentage of students who scored 3 or higher on IB exams as well. So we're doing better, meaning that our school and our level of instruction is more rigorous, and our students are doing better. Next. We want to keep it that way. And so here's just overall Georgia milestones comparison as reported by Atlanta Public Schools. And I didn't break it down by all 4 of the Georgia milestone content areas. This is just overall how schools performed, right? And I always look at the red because I know if the red is decreasing, then the others are increasing. But I just, I showed this to our staff a little bit earlier. Carver Early College is there, and they have only about 526. It's a smaller school. But if you look at the traditional schools within APS, Midtown is number 1. They're performing the highest academically. Then North Atlanta, and then Maynard Jackson, and slide Carver out. But who's next? Anybody?
Yeah, it's us. It's Maze. Yeah.
Mays. And if you look at the percentage of students who are in the red, if we look at Jackson, which we always want to catch somebody. If you look at them, they have about 37% of their students in the red. And how many do we have?
Yeah, we're at 45%. The margin isn't so far off because their numbers are a little bit higher than ours anyways in terms of population wise. So technically we're not far behind. We can do this.
We can do it. We will do it, right? We can do it. So we'll love to be in that 3rd spot and then look to catch somebody else, right? But okay, next slide. So these are APS board goals. I won't read all of these to you. The one that really applies to high school is the one that's circled, where it says every APS student will graduate enrolled, enlisted, employed, or as an entrepreneur by 2030. We will increase the percentage of students meeting at least one CCRPI readiness indicator by 20 points. And those CCRPI readiness indicators are the EOPAs, and IB, AP, SAT, some of the other things that we were just looking at. Next slide. These are our goals for this year. All right, our goals for this year. So as we continue to increase, the goals get higher. We're looking for 60%, 61% of our students will be at Developing Plus in biology, and 57% in algebra, and 68% U.S. history, and 63% in Lit 2. So goals are higher. As students continue to do better, goals get higher. College and career readiness, we're looking for 31% of our AP students. So yeah, we had 28%. Great. Now it's got to go up. We need 77% of EOPA students to pass, 53% of IB students to score 3. Dual enrollees will increase by 10. We've already done that. We have a ton of kids in dual enrollment. Super excited about that. ACT, SAT, ASVAB, work-based learning. Again, we have goals around everything, and everybody's work is monitored closely. Next slide. How will we get there? We want a 92% graduation rate, and we need our CCRPI attendance to go from 44.6 to 50%. We want to decrease our out-of-school suspension even more from a 1.79 to a 1.5. We can and will do it. Next slide. All right, so let's have a little discussion. Talk to me a little bit. Tell me about what did we notice? And we could just go one by one. What did we notice? Come off mute and let's have a discussion.
Well, one thing that I noticed, especially being in the biology, I noticed like sort of the connection with like the SWD and ELL students, but then in the areas that they did low in, it could be language comprehension, but that's something that we can definitely work on to bring up. MAP assessment scores that I'm seeing too is that we weren't so far off. It's kind of what you said, that it is a different cohort, different group. So I saw that the numbers, it wasn't, I mean, red is not good, but it wasn't so far off that by the time we take it in the spring, we know that it definitely can go up. We're not far behind the other schools in terms of like our numbers. When you're looking at the margin, it's only by like maybe like a 15% difference, but that's something that I think that we can turn around. We can do our attendance. I know that we can bring that up, seeing that seniors, especially since that attendance connects with graduation rate, the seniors actually, their attendance is higher than the freshmen who took a little bit of a dip, but that is something that we can work on too. And we are working on the whole child. So there's different initiatives that we have on, like Miss T with graduation, trying to reach out to the students, like we're doing a concerted effort with that. So I think that when we do that sort of halfway checkpoint, it should look different, where our grades will go up. I do feel that the subgroups will be able to get off that list because the subgroups, they are working closely with it. We're seeing sort of what the issues are, where they need some support with. I think that there should be some change. I do believe, especially when we look at in terms of like our goals with like pouring into the teachers, seeing a lot of the different programs that we have in place to help students, like Right Score. There's a lot of things that we have that we're pushing and we're practicing, we're putting in to help them. So I do feel that we could make some change. That's just my take. I do believe in our kids, and I think that they will succeed at the end.
I just noticed that some of our areas that we have that we need improvement in. I mean, like I just remember just right off the bat, like FAFSA, those are like easy fixes that we can easily streamline and create just parent engagement nights and things where we can actually sit down and have some type of informative session to teach them how to do that. Because a lot of times those are just simple, easy things that we could do. So I just saw some areas that we got just some simple things, some simple change that we can make. Even when we look at our students that's in the red, I heard you say earlier about identifying that, just making sure we're identifying like who those students are, and definitely trying to incorporate some type of action. But I know that this can be done like very attainable.
Thank you.
I think a lot of it has to do with maybe the just exposure, lack of exposure. And I think that the programs that we implemented and the services that we have in place are kind of going to give them the exposure that they need. So when I see the numbers flip-flop, where you have, for example, a North Atlanta at a certain percentage in the green, and their percentage of green is almost the same number as percentage as our in the red, then it kind of lets me know that there's an exposure void with our wraparound services and all of the things that we provide. I think we can expose them more and give them more of an outlook so they can see how things connect academically.
Got it. All right,
And we can use IB to support. Mr. Don made me think of something. IB can be one of those areas that we can really harness in on that critical thinking and getting kids to start solving problems. That really supports their initiative in terms of getting that exposure and them being able to make those connections. So just being more intentional about IB as a whole.
Love that too. Great. And those coming from my teachers. So look, my teachers say we believe in it, we can do it. It's gonna happen. We're gonna manifest that. What are your wonderings?
This is Bruce Lee. I was wondering our processes of analyzing I guess I would like to say the minimum. I was surprised to see D+ being the metrics from which we utilize and say that we want to get beyond or start to get beyond in such a high percentage versus at least a C+ or even a B. But given I understand that times obviously change in terms of metrics along the times in terms of who the students are and where they've been coming from. But
Oh, no,
engaging with
Mr.
that,
Lee. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. I had D plus is not the grade. That's developing. So I'm sorry. I the way that I wrote that is confusing. I'm sorry about that. The test is broken
Yeah.
down into those 4 categories. So that's not a grade. That's D. The D plus means that's when students start passing the test. So I'm sorry about that confusion, sir.
Very much appreciated.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Yeah, and Ms. Corpaccio, just remind me that when we show the data that I need to write that out, so it's not confusing. But I got it. Yes, sir. Any other wonderings?
My wonderings, it's not so much for this year, but it's going forward because we always seem to have a group where we can't really predict or kind of gauge the level of proficiency that they're coming in the gate. When I'm talking about to our incoming 9th graders going forward. So I always wonder, what type of, I guess, how much energy and how much effort do we have to put in all the time in terms of new 9th graders coming in and them being at a certain level in terms of not being proficient or being developing, and how we can kind of work with maybe the middle school to see how we can kind of, I guess reduce that gap, so to speak, or that sporadic numbers that fly all over the place.
Good point. Yes, sir.
I guess I'm wondering what strategies we can put in place to kind of solve some of these smaller problems that we have. It's like some of the smaller things that we have that we could like quick fix in the next couple of months. Like what strategies that we can actually implement. That we say this is what we're going to use to measure this to see this result. And then people don't like to say assess all the time, but I'm one of those people. I don't mind a weekly review of what's happening, so I can just be abreast. And I think that it keeps everybody kind of fresh, week to week. If you have that Friday wind down or whatever it is to kind of go through where we are and what needs to happen.
Got it. All right. Based on our school's trend data from MAP assessments. No, I'm sorry. Okay, from MAP assessments and end of year assessments, which student subgroups and grade levels show the most significant gaps or unexpected trends?
That's the easy answer, 9th grade. Yeah, that's the easy answer. I said that's the easy answer. That's going to always be 9th grade.
We had 9th grade, and then what?
The ELL subgroups.
ELL
Mhm,
subgroups.
Mhm. And special ed has made gains, but we still have many more to make in the area. So that's always a concern as well.
Right, especially in, we saw we had a small increase, like 1.9% in math, took up almost a 1 percentage point drop in bio. Big huge jump in U.S. history. So, and when when I'm thinking about these assessments, right, we know that biology is a what? 9th grade test. Algebra is a 9th grade test. U.S. history is 11th grade test. And then now we're looking at Lit 2, right? Which is now 10th grade. So the 9th graders, or the kids who we know the least, we have to count on the most as it relates to Georgia milestones. So, always keep that in mind. Also, based on our school's trend data from MAP assessments, milestones, and other indicators, are there specific trends that require more focused attention?
Mhm.
What would you guys say?
Of course, those same areas, those same subgroups we just talked about definitely need a little bit more attention and time and strategize. And then some of the others, we can bring them up.
Attendance.
And
Sure.
attendance need to be here.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to I think that's one of our big things to kind of tackle, and actually like getting to the source of why it's not happening. And I know that there are a lot of contributing factors based upon family, society, what's going on, the common understanding of what education is now, the misconceptions in the community. There's a lot going on in society, and the miseducation that's going around as it pertains to what people are being told school is. So it's just a lot that has to happen. I know we talked about building community more is going to probably be one of those places that we're going to be able to do that, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Great points, guys. Attendance is definitely something we all need to figure out. I definitely don't have that, don't have the answers. We gotta work as a team. I had some really wild ideas. I won't share them now. We're still working on them. But I had some wild ideas, to try to help with attendance that some other states are doing. And then do we have any additional questions?
Hey, good afternoon. I do. I know we're only a couple of months in, but I wanted to see if you guys are seeing any changes or differences in the classroom as related to the cell phone policy.
Oh, I'll let my teachers talk about it.
Absolutely, I can speak to that. I do feel that there is more of student engagement. I could speak for the subpopulation because some of my ESOL students are also double coded SWD. That's why I made that connection when I saw the decrease, and I'm like, okay,
gotcha.
they're double coded. And I think that not having the cell phone, it really does play a big part for them because ESOL in particular, the EOC test, it is all in English. This is how it's delivered. So some of them, stating like, hey, it was Google Translate. No, actually everything is there. They are then able to fully focus on knowing how to utilize the dictionaries that they're given that are approved to use on the EOC. And I think for the subcategory groups, it works because then they don't have that cell phone. So sometimes within the IEP, it might say, hey, they have breaks in between, right? But the breaks in between doesn't mean going on your phone. The breaks in between might mean them actually sitting down, working on a different task. Or some teachers have sort of like, little like beanbag sections in their class and they can sit there, or so that this way we're really working to the full child and looking at that IEP and understanding it completely, as opposed to just saying that, well, the breaks looks like them going on the phone. No, now you don't have the phone and they're focused on the task at hand and looking how that differentiating really works in the classroom. So it has worked. Like in my classes, at least I can say, and I've noticed that kids are a little bit more engaged and they're holding themselves accountable. And in real time, teachers don't have to go back and forth with the students. Like I can just send Mr. Carpenter, Ms. Brown a message, and then they'll just come into the classroom and deal with that so that you're not doing that back and forth engagement, which we shouldn't do, right? So I do think that the Yonder Pouch works. To me, in my class, it works.
And I'll come in and say, yes, engagement is up. I can say, I just go based on my book. I put less M's in this year than I've ever, which is missing. I have not had to put in, maybe the only way I put a missing grade if a student was not at school. But when they're at school, all of the work is done. And I'm saying, when I'm saying all the work is done, last year, they may finish half of it, maybe approaching the test, but not compliant. But most kids are completely done with the entire strong work. So that's really good. And I also think it's good for them socially because I'm noticing them actually developing friendships now and understanding like empathy and how to like care for people and respond. So I know in ninth grade, I've been doing a lot of talking about how to respond and conflict resolution. So not having a phone is making them ask a lot of questions, of course, but it creates that engagement and an environment that we so miss as educators.
Huge shout out to Mr. Connor for engaging his advisement, but all of his classes with these SEL practices that we know help to build strong relationships with the teacher, but also a bigger and stronger bond with each other, the students. So they don't have that distraction anymore. They are able to zone in. I'm getting less and less text messages and calls about phones being out. So I feel like that gives teachers the opportunity to differentiate, but also students the opportunity to complete their tasks and with less distractions. It's a much calmer environment that I've noticed behaviorally speaking.
Yes.
Well, good. That's all good news. Thank you.
Great question, Ms. Anderson. Thank you for that. All right. Let's go to next. Next slide. All right, so our timeline for our GO team, we are right at number 4, where our GO team reviews progress on current strategic plan, and team will develop the 25 through 30 strategic plan. Next slide. Questions? Then we just did the go. Next slide. All right. Principal's report. All right. So let's talk a little bit about leveling. We just got through the leveling process. So I want to talk to you exactly about our numbers, where we landed, what's happening as far as our budget goes. So our projected enrollment was 1,320 students. We ended up with 1,262 students. So our enrollment was down by about 58 students, which, each student is almost $6,000. So you do the math, 58 times about 5,900. But the district did us a favor, and they took our reserve budget, which was $179,371.78. But they did not do anything else. So at the bottom, you see hold harmless. They didn't take, normally in situations like that, you would have to lose the rest of the money that you were short in staff. So for us, I think it would have been around $300 and some thousand total. They would have taken the reserves, and then we would have probably had to lose 1 or 2 teachers. The district did not do that. They said hold harmless to support stability in schools. Budgets were not reduced beyond the school reserves, which again is a plus. The budget also adjustment reflects the impact of the following. So enrollment changes, school reserves, Title I, all of that money was kind of tied up in reserves. So that was again taken, but nothing else, which is a blessing. Next slide. So personnel changes. We did have 1 unfilled science position. The district did not allow us to fill, but we were able to reallocate those funds to help support the school, because we're gonna need some money. Just, in the nest egg. Next slide. All right, so APS 4 2040, we are reshaping the future of education. There are a series of task force meetings that are happening. The first one was back in May, and then in August. So the presentations for those are there. Upcoming public meetings are October 20th and November 10th. Virtual at noon, and then in person at 6 p.m. at CLL, which is located at 130 Trinity Street. And then there are updates on the comprehensive long-range facilities plans, which is, the big news around our district about which schools will have to close, I believe, 3 years from now, 2 years from now. Next slide. All right, we did not have anyone for public comment, is what the message that I just received. So we'll keep going.
Does
All
any,
right, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask, does anyone have any announcements? So the announcements, what we have, our G3 Summit. So hopefully everyone on the GO team will be able to come to our G3 Summit. It's Saturday, September 27th, 8:30 to 2:30. Looking forward to all the GO team members being there. And then they did cancel one GO team thing that was supposed to take place last night, but we're all good for this Saturday, the 27th. So it's still on. We're going. Everybody going? I hope everybody can attend. Any other announcements?
I don't know if there are some upcoming events that I would like to share. I just want the community to know about and people to attend if you can. So I know Mr. Lee, I think you'll be at the entrepreneur workshop, which is going to be on the 15th. That's Monday at 10 a.m. We have our Democracy Fest this year. It's going to be on the 16th. We'll be over at Thero High School with Washington. So that'll be a great event, which is really supporting our juniors and seniors as it relates to registering to vote. We have our next PTSA meeting. PTSA meeting is going to also be on the 16th, next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. We will have a student town hall with former Mayor Shirley Franklin and Councilwoman Andrea Boone. That's going to happen next 16, Thursday on September 18th. We're excited about that, talking about what the juniors and seniors want to see and what schools they want to visit, trying to get a visit to North Carolina A&T coming up. We have our next pep rally on the next day, so busy week next week, which is Friday the 19th. This is going to be an academic pep rally, so I'm excited about that. We're asking all the kids to come dressed as nerds. We're going to have some fun really celebrating what we've been doing academically in the school. And cluster night is later on that night at Lakewood Stadium. We'll be taking on Creekside High School at 8 p.m. Grandparents' Day breakfast is going to be the following week on the 25th. That's going to take place at 9:30 a.m. We always have a great turnout for our Grandparents' Day breakfast. So please, if you know a grandparent, have them sign up. You got to sign up. Can't just show up. You got to sign up because last year the numbers got really big. So we got to know who's coming.
Can you give me the date again for the Grandparents' Day, please?
Grandparents' Day is the 25th at 9:30, September 25th. The class of 26 investiture ceremony is going to be September 26th, the next day at 10 a.m. We will have curriculum night. We need everybody to come. Curriculum night is going to be really fun this year. Got some fun things planned, trying to have some big giveaways for the community, for our parents. So curriculum night is going to be September 30th at 5:30 p.m. We will have our students who will be going to Germany for, I believe, 10 or 12 days. That's coming up in October. We have a series of PBIS celebrations that we've been doing. The first one we did was a tailgate party, which turned out really well for students who had not missed a day of school and had not had any out of school suspensions. Our next one is when, Ms. Brown?
October 3rd and 4th.
October 3rd and 4th. You got to have perfect attendance from the month of September, right?
So we're doing September the 8th through September 30th.
Okay.
So that gives students a chance to reset. If they've been absent prior to, no worries. If they had been suspended prior to, no worries. So a lot of students were like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to go. But yes, you will, because we reset everything. So we have high hopes that this attendance for this particular what is this called? Fall Fiesta will be larger than the last one. We'll have everything to make them feel happy and want to do it again and again. So hopefully that helps with our attendance initiatives.
Right. So strategy, right? Fall Fiesta. What are we doing? What are we
So
having?
Fall Fiesta, we got the nachos coming up. We got the games coming in. We ordered quite a few games. So the students did enjoy the games last time, which was surprising. I didn't know students played games anymore. So that was wonderful. They played the big Jenga and the big Connect Four. We had the basketball on one end. We had our music going. They ate, they socialized. They played Guess Who. It was amazing. We have a couple of football games for them since it was tailgate theme. I think this time we're trying to add a karaoke to that. So we'll see how the students like that. So yeah, it should be a really good time. I hope we have large numbers and we have a good time.
We will. Listen, our next Go Team meeting is October 7th at 5:15 p.m. I think that's all for the announcements I have, Mrs. Brown.
Excellent. All right, we have reached the end of our agenda.
I have a question before we finish the agenda. Did we do the cluster advisory team report? Or do we have one?
I don't have one. They give me an outline of everything I need to present, so I didn't see that in the outline from the district.
Okay.
But I will check into it and get it out if need be. Who's our cluster rep?
Mr. Connor.
Mr. Connor, have you had any meetings yet, sir?
I haven't sent, they invited me to a meeting, but it wasn't anything that they told me to send back, or I haven't got an email or anything.
Okay. All right.
And make sure everybody does their training.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? So may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Elizabeth Raymond, motion to adjourn.
May I have a second?
Mr. Connor, I second that motion.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions, please raise your hand. All right, meeting is adjourned.
Ms. Siobhan,
Yes?
I'm
ma'am?
sorry, who seconded that motion?
That was Mr. Connor.
Okay.
All right, so meeting is adjourned. It's 6:11 p.m. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care. Have a
you.
good night, everybody.
All right,
Thank
have a
you.
good
All
night.
right. You